plays host to the 33rd edition of the NASCAR Winston West Series. Hi everybody, I'm Larry Naston, and welcome to Mason Raceway in Bakersfield. A tight points battle awaits us tonight, not only for the championship, but for Rookie of the Year. With me is Dan Hubbard, and Dan, we talked about a tight points battle between Sean Woodside and Butch Gilliland for the championship, for Gary Smith and Sean Woodside for Rookie of the Year, and then of course it all wears down to tire wear, tire management, and who's going to garner those points.
That's right. Mason Raceway has a history of being very, very tough on tires, although it's very cool tonight, very chilly, and that's going to help these drivers, so perhaps tire wear is not as big a concern as it would be if they were racing during the day. Now, only 2 races remain in the NASCAR Winston West Series. That means points are as valuable as gold. So these guys are going to be fighting not only for the win here in Mason Marin, but for the points title as well.
And we're going to hear from the guy who sits on the pole right now. In the 07, we're going down with our crew chief and pit reporter, Barry Dotson and Sean Woodside.
Hello everyone, I am Barry Dotson here at the streets of Bakersfield, and guys, tire management is going to be the key, no matter what the temperature is. The cold weather is still going to be tire management. This place chews them up. I'm down here with sensational rookie Sean Woodside in the 1-800 Cleanup Pontiac. Let's ask him what he's got to do. Sean, you're 74 points out of the lead. What do you got to do to take care of your tires tonight, win this race, and yet go for the championship?
We need to lead all the laps and keep Butch from leading, try and get the bonus points. And the car's set up pretty neutral right now. I think the tires will last. We'll probably pit around 120, put some rights on, and kind of plan it from there, see how the yellows fall.
Okay, good luck. Keep your belts tight. Larry Naston, back up to you, buddy.
And when we come back, we'll tell you who's starting and cover the whole starting field for Mason Marin. We'll be back right after this. No, I'm not going to lie. Yes. Okay. Okay. Are we going to start the introductions from the back or the front? Okay. How'd the open look? You serious? Okay.
Check 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Mason Raceway for the Spears Manufacturing 250. Larry Naston and Dan Hubbard will cover the action. Barry Dotson and Mike Bliss is crew chief on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, handling the duties for us tonight on pit row as we look at the starting grid. Row 1 will be pole sitter Sean Woodside, number 75 Kevin Harvick. Row 2, 37 Larry Gutzelman, and number 9 Bill Sedgwick, who has won 6 times on this racetrack. Number 71 Jerry Kane, and 38 Butch Gilliland make up the 3rd row. Number 63 Garrett Holmes, and 45 Gary Smith make up row number 4. Row number 5 is Kevin Culver, number 25, and 09 Richard Nell. Row number 6 is the Lotto winner, number 43 Kenny Smith, and number 15 Rick Scribner. Scribner making his first start in a long time. Number 23 Brandon Ash, and number 4 Jeff Davis will make up row 7. And the 00 of Scott Gaylord and the 78 of Jay Sauter will make up row number 8. Row number 1975 Lee Lineker. Barry Collins. Number 11 finds said at the top of the show, the 33rd time here at Mesa Marin.
There you see in your picture the 07 car of Sean Woodside. He is going to be the rabbit here tonight. His qualifying effort was absolutely outstanding earlier this afternoon. And Sean could put that car on the bottom line. I mean, ride that white line all the way around this track. This is the short way around. Sean Woodside is going to be the guy to catch.
Sean Woodside now is second in the points, 74 back of Butch Gilman. Remember, Gary Smith and Sean Woodside are both badly for that Rookie of the Year and for the championship. Larry Gunselman is in the 4th spot. He's back 363 points. And Scott Gaylord is in the 395th position, or actually 395 points behind. That's going to be a little tough to make up. But the battle now is the top 3 cars. They all qualified well today, Dan. And the trouble and the systems that they're going to have to do and make sure they don't run into is everything that happens on this track. Tire wear, tire management, fuel. Can they get in the pits? If you go in the pits on a green flag here, you will lose a lap. And Woodside very aware of that. As he said, they're playing in the 120 lap range. They're going to come in for fuel and tires. But if the cars can't make it 120 laps on the tires that they have, we're going to see some green flag pit stops early. 1 to go when they cross the stride.
See the front row there, Sean Woodside on the pole to the inside, Kevin Harvick the outside. A lot of Kevin Harvick fans here tonight at Mesa Marin. Kevin, a local boy out of Bakersfield, California. Cheers went up from the stands when he qualified that car on the front row.
Dodge Viper pacing on the back straightaway at Mesa Marin Raceway USA. Sean Woodside came up from the grassroots of NASCAR. Saga Speedway, NASCAR Winston Racing Series, came to Mesa Marin, a much bigger racetrack, and did very well. Then got a chance to move up. Drives for Ray Claridge in the 07 Unical. We're going to green, and immediately Kevin Harvick gets sideways. The kids are on the front row, and the kids are going to lead him into 1. Sean Woodside out in front, as you see the rest of the pack now, making their way 3 wide through turns 1 and 2 at Mesa Marin. That's okay now, but when they get up to speed, that's very dangerous.
Harvick and Woodside going at it in the early going, side by side, off to turn 4 and down the main stretch. First lap, it'll be Harvick by just a hair.
Kevin Harvick continuing to lead as we see a great shot of him coming down the front straightaway here at Mesa Marin. 17 degrees of banking in the turns and 7 degrees on the straightaways. Kevin Harvick out in front. The battle for third, though, is Larry Gunselman gets bumped from behind the number 9 of Bill Sedgwick. Sedgwick has won here 6 times. He has been on the pole 6 times. And Sedgwick did not get a great starting position this afternoon as he qualified 4th. And car 75 making its way down the racetrack. Kevin Harvick, your leader, as we see Larry Gunselman and Bill Sedgwick. There's a good shot of the 2 front-running cars now. The 75 of Kevin Harvick, the former track champion here at Mesa Marin, doing some double duty for Spears Manufacturing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the Spears Monte Carlo.
Harvick pulling it out here in the early going, doing pretty well. Got about a 4-car length lead over second spot Sean Woodside. A bit surprising. I think he'd pull away from Sean that easy.
Well, 250 laps is a long time, and the battle for third rages on as Sedgwick now all over the back of Larry Gunselman. Larry Gunselman had a great opportunity to get to the top of the points, but did not race Sears Point, which was the previous race to this Spears Manufacturing 250. And Kevin Harvick now out in front. Gunselman had trouble getting something together on the race car for Sears Point. Remember, they used a road course car, and Gunselman was not able to make the field, but he still is up there in the points. But Sedgwick, who needs a win badly, he has been on a dry spell, working himself now in spot number 4. As we look at Gary Smith, the other contender of the Rookie of the Year, and he's being chased now by Eric Holmes in a good shot as we already get into lapping the field. And Wakita looks like he may have a little smoke trailing from his car. Kevin Harvick's got the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet in tow. And the 56 car.
That would be Eddie O.
Slowing down. Eddie O having a problem. We'll find out what happened to Eddie Oak, the driver out of Torrance, California, as he is obviously, Dan, going to take this down to pit road, and that's a tough break for him as we're very early in the Spears Manufacturing 250. And some damage, too, on the front of his car, so obviously getting into something.
He chooses to keep it out on the track while everybody's passing to the outside. We saw another car earlier, Kazuchika Wakita, in trouble as well, so a couple of cars out there not motoring as fast as they'd like. Although now Eddie Oak seems to have solved the problem. He's back under speed.
And we've got that battle continuing as Bill Sedgwick has got by Larry Gunselman down the back straightaway. He now is about 2.5 car lengths off of Sean Woodside. Woodside lets the car drift out wide coming out of 4, and Bill Sedgwick and Larry Gunselman are following. The racetrack at Mesa Marin is very slick up top, and that's where they're going to have to get around these lap drivers, and right now they're making their first bid to get around some of the drivers who marked the back of the field.
Gunselman there trying to retaliate against Bill Sedgwick, as Sedgwick has to encounter some lap cars. Gunselman able to hug the bumper there of the Bill Sedgwick automobile.
Already you see the brakes on Bill Sedgwick's Chevrolet heating up. And Sedgwick now trying to get it down. You see that, Dan, that red caliper there? That's one of the things we talked about. As the brakes go away, the tires start to go just as fast. So good shot of your leaders right now as we continue with great racing here at Mason Marin. The Spears Manufacturing 250, and the Spears driver Kevin Harvick is out in front. And we'll be back with more of the Spears Manufacturing 250. Don't go away. Okay, I talked way too much during that segment. I'm sorry.
Oh, look at that.
Don't look at the track. Don't even do it now.
Gosh, damn it.
Hey, Dave, make sure tomorrow you thank Eli for helping Dan and I out. Okay, tell him thank you from us.
Make sure it's cash.
Because yeah, we won't get to see him tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, I can hear.
Welcome back to the Spears Manufacturing 250 that sees its driver, Kevin Harvick, in the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet Monte Carlo out in front. 16 laps are down, and Dan Hubbard, an interesting fact, 19.768 is running just about qualifying speed, so the track, as it gets cooler, is getting very fast.
It's getting very fast, although we did see during qualifying how it can get slick through turns 3 and 4, and the drivers, all the drivers know that. They're cognizant of it. Watching Kevin Harvick through the corners, and you see there the battle for third. Bill Sedgwick, Larry Gunselman, as Gunselman got back around Sedgwick.
And again,
you see that red glow on the brakes.
Exactly. I was just going to point that out. We're very early in the Spears Manufacturing 250, and already we're seeing red brake rotors, meaning their brake action is very, very tough. Gunselman now goes around. They're getting around the 6th car now, and Pappy Pryor out of Priest Lake, Idaho, having a little bit of problems. He's down on the bottom of the track. But Bill Sedgwick, as we said earlier, has been very successful on this racetrack. If you were a betting person, you probably want to watch him for a while and see what he does, because he knows how this track can change. Meanwhile, Sean Woodside out in front of Larry Gunselman. Gunselman is showing a little bit of heat out of the brake system now, and Bill Sedgwick gets around the lappers as they head up to the top. Very hot brakes for Bill Sedgwick.
And you watch that number 9 car, and he is sliding just a little bit higher because he can't brake as hard. He's carrying a little bit too much speed into the corners, can't hug that bottom line. He's trying to cool off those brakes, but how can you do that at speed during a race?
The only way you can do it is to run higher up on the racetrack, but as soon as you run higher up here at Mason Marin, you give up a very important part on the bottom, and there you see another illustration of Bill Sedgwick's Gary Blakesley ADL Chevrolet Monte Carlo, with not only the red glowing on the paint, but the red glowing on the brake rotors as well. But Mason Marin Raceway is a very, very tricky track. Most drivers will say you race this track in the last 50 laps, you be there for the first 200 and don't wear your car out. And we've seen that on these big 3,500-pound Winston West cars. For those people who are not used to seeing the Winston West on television, they are just like Winston Cup cars. There's relatively no difference there, except most of these guys are based on the West Coast. And speaking of West Coast, Sean Woodside in the 07 Cinema Vehicle Services Pontiac is being chased down now by the 37 of Larry Gunselman. Gunselman has won here at Mason Marin a long time ago. Gunselman got his first NASCAR Winston West Series victory right here.
Gunselman has found his rhythm. Closing up right on the bumper now of Sean Woodside, as Woodside has a little bit of problems there with L.J. Pryor. Both of them are forced up high just before turn 3.
And a little contact being made as Pryor gets into the back of Larry Gunselman. Gunselman doesn't seem to have any damage on his race car. Sean Woodside now making his way around the 56. And of course the 56 car had already had a little problem with the damage to the right front of his car, but he kept on the racetrack hoping for a yellow, but we haven't got one. It's been all Kevin Harvick. 24 laps are in the books. And in second spot is Woodside, and following him is the number 37 of Larry Gunsel.
Gunsel, a former winner here at Mesa Marin in the Winston West Series. Last win here was in 1996. Currently fourth in the points.
Gunselman running very hard here. He's got to keep Sean Woodside in tow. I mean, you can't let him get away here. You got to be there for the 200, as we said, but you've got to be there in competitive form. You just can't wear the car out. And already Woodside and Kevin Harvick and Larry Gunsel are starting to lap traffic. So that on the racetrack right now is what you're seeing, the 07 of Sean Woodside and the 37 of Larry Gunselman. They're going to go underneath Scott Gaylord, and that's what we talked about, Dan. If you get up behind the racetrack and pull those brakes down, you leave a big, wide open lane around what they call the Hornaday ring here at Mesa Marin, running very low onto the track apron.
And now you can see some brake flow on the right front. They go into turn 3 right now, but the right front brake on the Larry Gunselman automobile is starting to glow red hot.
And Larry Gunselman again trying to keep Sean Woodside in tow. Woodside has done so well. We've got a car in trouble, the 19 car, the Interstate Batteries car, Billy Cann, out of Tempe, Arizona, and the Interstate Batteries Chevy Lumina getting a little bit of trouble. He's still continuing on to the racetrack. He's in a 22nd position right now. And it looks like he is going to pull that thing down low on the racetrack. We'll find out if he goes into the pits or not, but there's your leader, Kevin Harvick, and he is about ready to put a lap on Gary Collins. And we are under caution as the yellow flag comes out for Billy Cann, and the rest of the field will race back to the yellow. And I don't understand this. I don't think that Harvick realizes he was racing back to the yellow, and that may have put Sean Woodside into the lead.
I think Woodside got him.
Kevin Harvick backed off the throttle. We raced to the yellow in the NASCAR Winston West Series, and Sean Woodside was very alert, and he stood on it. And we'll be back with more of the Spears Manufacturing 250. Don't you dare go away. God, he slept on that, huh? You know what? He's thinking NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series because they don't race back to the yellow. The Truck Series doesn't race back to the yellow.
That's right. He's playing by truck rules in his head.
Yeah.
Let's see what NASCAR puts him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, right now they got the 07 out in front on lap 31, guys. Okay, he is the leader. Okay, so Woodside takes the lead on 30.
Do we have a replay?
Okay. Oh, they just split him.
Boom. Got him. All right.
Okay.
Can I take that, Larry?
Yeah, you take that.
All right. Replay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I like it better, yeah. I just like being in the dark with two good-looking girls. Right on. Yeah, definitely. Oh, look at that. It's coming all the way up, baby.
What are you doing? You know, I'm trying to do a broadcast here.
Welcome back to the Spears Manufacturing 250 out of 31 out of 250 laps. Sean Woodside, Kevin Harvick, Larry Gunselman, Bill Sedgwick, and Butch Gilliland are the top 5. 6 through 10, Jerry Kane, Gary Smith, Eric Holmes, Kevin Culver, and Brandon Ash.
Now here's what happened as the leaders were racing back to the yellow after it was thrown out for Billy Cann. There you see Kevin Harvick. He seems rather casual, almost backing off the throttle. Here comes Sean Woodside on the outside, beats him to the stripe. Why was Kevin Harvick off the throttle? Perhaps because he competes in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and they do not race back to the yellow.
That's exactly right, and Sean Woodside took advantage of that to put the 07 Pontiac back out in front. Sean Woodside has had a fantastic career. He's got a great car owner. That car won the championship last year with Lance Hooper driving. And then when Hooper left to go Winston Cup racing, or in search of a Winston Cup ride, Sean Woodside was the recipient of a very understanding and caring Ray Claridge. They've put together a great team in their first season together. They are running for the Rookie of the Year championship. They have 2 wins under their belt. And Dan, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, Sean Woodside knows how to get around this racetrack, and not only a late model, but a Winston West car as well.
He was absolutely awesome in qualifying earlier today. Sean Woodside in a battle for the Rookie of the Year award with Gary Smith. Now, Gary is leading that battle with 101 points. Sean with 90 points. There you see a shot of Bill Sedgwick, the winningest driver here at Mesa Marin Raceway in the Winston West Series. He's 6 to his credit.
He's in the ADL Gary Blakesley Monte Carlo. Very interesting sponsorship. He makes antenna downlinks for jet airliners, so obviously the communication very good in the number 9. And already a couple of Mesa Marin Racing donuts on the side of his car, and he did get together and bumped the 56 of Eddie Oak earlier in the race, and that's where he got that mark through the NASCAR Award Sponsor Program panel.
This
Bill
yellow
Sedgwick.
flag is going to help Bill out
It
for a couple
certainly is.
laps because now he can cool off those brakes.
That's exactly right, and everybody needed it because Gunselman was starting to show some heat, and so was the leader Kevin Harvick, and of course Sean Woodside. 1 to go as they get ready to pull this Dodge Viper down off of the racetrack. A busy race weekend here at Mesa Marin. The NASCAR Winston Racing Series late models Faster Food Stores 150. Kevin Harvick won that. There's Harvick driving tonight. Last night, the NASCAR Featherline Southwest Tour Port City 200 was rained out. That race will happen in the next couple of weeks. And of course, tomorrow, the Dodge California Truck Stop 300 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And there you see the rest of the cars lining up. This is a beautiful shot of the back straightaway of Mesa Marin. We are getting ready to go green, and Dan Hubbard, Sean Woodside, gets a great shot.
Fantastic jump. But Harvick will look to the inside as they go into turn 1. Gunselman is there in third. Whoa, Woodside slides high.
Yeah, he got up in that high groove, and now he's going to get out of line. And if he doesn't get back in line quickly, Bill Sedgwick is going to slide job right underneath him, and Sedgwick has to check up. That puts Woodside in the 3rd spot, but your leader is Kevin Harvick. Larry Gunselman runs in spot number 2. Sean Woodside still in 3rd, and in 4th is Bill Sedgwick.
See if he can keep it low here. He does. Holds down that 3rd position.
And here comes the 38 of Butch Gilliland. He is the point leader in the NASCAR Winston West Series. So Gilliland trying to work up as we have a great battle out in front now for the lead. Kevin Harvick and the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet out in front of Gunselman. There's Bill Sedgwick. Sedgwick now trying to find his way around Sean Woodside.
As Bill Sedgwick, you see the leader, why he likes Mesa Marin so much. He said, well, when Saugus closed down, which is another short track about about an hour south of here, he had to spend a lot of time here at Mesa Marin. He just loves the high banking, the 17-degree banking in the corners.
And everybody who ran here had to change their car from a 3rd track flat racetrack to a bank fast half mile. This is a lot like Bristol. It doesn't have the concrete, but it is shaped a lot like Bristol, and it's got some pretty high speed for an asphalt racetrack. There you see Kevin Harvick. He's out of Bakersfield, California, former track champion, being chased by Gunselman, and a great speed shot down right on the racetrack as we watch the rest of the Winston West field. And now we've got a pretty good battle going on back there as well. So a lot of guys racing around this track. Remember, 250 laps a long time. You can be the rabbit, but just don't get caught by the cat, and that'll happen around the 200 lap mark as pit strategies will come into play. And we'll obviously be hearing from Barry Dodson down on pit road later on as pit strategy will play into importance. They think they can go 120 laps on fuel and tires. It's a great shot in the top 3 now as they go into turn number 3. Bill Sedgwick is nowhere to be seen. Now he comes into the picture. The top 3 drivers evenly spaced out. Sedgwick about 10 car lengths behind. Kevin Harvick, Larry Gunselman, and Sean Woodside, your top 3.
Woodside's got those tires heated up again. Starting to gain ground on 2nd spot, Larry Gunselman.
Now remember, if you're setting the pace, you don't know what the pace really is. And Larry Gunselman knows probably as good as anybody here that it's not important to lead this race. Not until we get into the later stages. But Gunselman is already heating up. And he's also got smoke coming out from the bottom of his car. We're going to have to keep an eye on that as Gunselman's race car looks like it's getting hot. Gary Smith now getting all kinds of heat from the number 71. It's a battle for 5th with Jerry Kane. And Jerry Kane's not been in a Winston West car a whole bunch. In fact, his first time in a Winston West car here at Mesa Marin. Gary Smith, of course, from Malahat, British Columbia. This battle is for 5th place. He's got a few wins to his credit this year, and he's also running for Rookie of the Year. Of course, his father, a great Winston West champion, Roy Smith, years ago.
Ask Gary Smith what he prefers, short tracks or the super speedways. And he kind of winked at me. He said he loves the super speedways, so he's going to really love it November 8th.
Exactly.
for their race at Las Vegas.
That's right. This is the last short track race of the year, and it's probably the last time they will feel completely confident in their race car. Most of the race cars on the NASCAR Winston West Series don't see much of super speedways, although they will race and have raced Montana. They do race Las Vegas, but that's about it. Big road course up at Sears Point, they run there, but most of the tracks they run on are short tracks. Here's some good short track racing right now. New leader is Larry Gunselman, as he's gotten by Kevin Harvick, and Gunselman about ready to put a lap on the 28 of Gary Collins.
Again, you see that grand hot break right in front of Larry Gunselman. How long can he keep out there at speed? Gunselman to the inside of Collins before they get to turn 3. Pulls off that pass in the last car.
So Larry Gunselman out in front right now. 47 laps are down, and we'll be back with more of the Spears Manufacturing 250 right after this. What lap did he go to the lead on? What lap did he go to the lead on? Okay.
Let's get some stuff. Let me get some stuff on Gunselman here.
Okay. Don't read it like a staff up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Welcome back to a chilly night in Bakersfield, California. The Spears Manufacturing 250 is 53 laps into the books. Larry Gunselman, the new leader, and here's what it looked like. Kevin Harvick was out in front. They got in a bunch of traffic, and look at Gunselman. He just played it real smart. Harvick had problems. Gunselman goes to the edge of the roadway, and he is gone. And that was a great move. And again, we talked about going high on this racetrack, and that can bring you all kinds of joy if there is a crowd on the bottom.
Smart race driving by Larry Gunselman. He could have rolled the bumper of Kevin Harvick, but laid back just a bit, maybe about 5 or 10 yards to see how it was going to develop. Then he jumped on the throttle.
And the battle for third heats up as Bill Sedgwick in the number 9 ADL Monte Carlo going after the Pontiac of Sean Woodside. Oddly enough, that Pontiac was the first one of the new body style to ever win a NASCAR Winston Cup or a NASCAR Winston West Series race, and it was done by Lance Hooper the first year the new bodies came out. So Pontiac has had a long history with Ray Claridge and this Golden West Motorsports Cinema Vehicle Services team, and Sean Woodside continues to roll around this racetrack riding along in third.
Look at the manufacturers' battle in the Winston West Series. Ford has the most wins so far with 5, Chevrolet with 4, Pontiac only 2. Sean Woodside's going to do everything he can to cut that score.
And you start talking about statistical analysis of the Winston West Series. There's guys out here with some history. Pole winners, Butch Gilman's got 4 to his name. Bill Sedgwick has 6 race winners. Bill Sedgwick again has 6. And boy, you just keep going down the list. Gilliland, he got 1 last weekend up at Sears Point. It's been great. Now the battle starts to heat up as Woodside closes in on Harvick, and Jay Sauter in the number 78 car, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series regular, went into the wall, and he's obviously got some big problems. Yellow flag is coming out.
You see Gunselman getting by it down there on the inside, so the leader is going to make it to the stripe.
And Jay Sauter having his problems. He's going to have to get down on pit road. And yellow flag is still out. We'll be back with more racing from Mesa Marin. Don't you go away. Things are heating up. What a bummer for Sauter. He can go to bed early now. Do we have that? Okay. Okay.
All right.
You got it.
Okay. So Larry, you bring it back. I'll do the replay. I'll throw back to you. You go down to Barry.
All right. Well, we got to do it quicker than that. Okay. Just make sure it's quick. That's a GM Goodwrench crew working on that car.
All right.
Okay. I'll just bring it
That's
back.
all yours. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, under caution as the pace car controls Larry Gunselman's pace around the Masonry Raceway. And Jay Sauter had a few problems, and there's Sauter back on the racetrack. Let's go down to pit row and Barry Dotson and find out what happened.
I tell you what, guys, it looks like a little more than tire management down here. It looks a lot like brake management. We're down at turn one, and you see cars come through here. The only guy that didn't have the brake rotors red hot was a 75 of Kevin Harvick. And we don't know if that's what happened to Jay Halter. But we anticipated some brake problems there. A bigger problem, these are bi-spot tires. It will eventually cook the bead. That's a part of the tire that seals to the rim. When that happens, it blows out and you go straight in the wall. So I'm surprised they're using that much brake. Back up to you, Larry.
Well, Kevin Harvick out of Bakersfield, California, comes in to get some tires and maybe help his situation a little bit. But I'll tell you, there's no friend like brakes on a banked half mile. You need them. You have to use them, Dan. And boy, Kevin Harvick's got his hands full tonight.
That was the second pit stop during this caution for Kevin Harvick, who gave up second spot and then went in again for more position. So perhaps there's a more serious problem with brakes than Kevin Harvick got to do.
Well, he's on the tail end of the lead lap now, so he's going to have to make himself back up to the front. And the lead being inherited now by the 37 of Larry Gunselman as they pace themselves down the back straightaway. And we're waiting for a green flag. The pace car is off the racetrack. The top row is your lead lap cars. And Gunselman gets a great jump this time off the start. He puts one car length between he and Sean Woodside. And right in the third spot is Bill Sedgwick. And Sedgwick again looking for that opportunity. Butch Gilliland runs in spot number 4.
Woodside doing battle there with Jeff Davis. Jeff tries to stay there on the lead lap.
Well, Jeff Davis has unfortunately not been running with us very much this year. Good to see him back out. New Ultra Shield sponsorship of his race team. Of course, Jeff is a famous go-kart racer, and we are back under yellow.
Rich Neal.
And Rich Neal back in the wall in the 09. The GMB Technologies champion Pontiac Grand Prix, and they're going to race
back
it.
to the stripe.
Back to the Gunselman this time, not sleeping. And he stays on the lead. Sean Woodside in spot number 2. Bill Sedgwick across the line third. And an unfortunate break for Richard Neal, course Gold California driver. And he'll try to roll down and not get in anybody's way. That's the trick on the high banking, is to make sure you don't come back down too quick and collect up any other cars. And Pontiac Grand Prix is going to have to make a trip down onto pit lane as we are in our third caution here at lap 66 of 250.
Richard Neal qualified 10th. Only time will tell if he can get that back in the pits and back in race trim.
You know, we haven't talked about Butch Gilliland a lot for the Strop Motorsports 4, the Pro Installation for Thunderbird. Gilliland won last week, and now, which sits in spot number 4, so he's been creeping up as everything's been going on the front. Been pretty exciting up front. Had 3 different leaders in this race, and now we are considering Butch Gilliland running for the top front. And of course, the 3 leaders have been number 75 Kevin Harvick, then Sean Woodside. Harvick got the lead back, and the 3rd leader was Larry Gunselman, and then number 37, Race Stuff Olson Technologies Ford.
Butch won the race at Mesa Marin earlier this year. That was the May race. Gilliland found his way to victory lane.
And Butch Gilliland now slowly going around the racetrack as we are still under yellow. 67 laps are down. Pace car is out, and we'll be back with more racing at Mesa Marin as they get the car off the racetrack. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we could go see why the 75 pitted, what their strategy is. You know, it's 250 laps, and they stopped at 65, 66. 6 times 4 is 240.
That's right.
Did they get 4 tires? 2 and 2? They only get 4 rights and 2 lefts. We could go see. You know, he was in the front. We could.
Yeah, he pitted twice, Barry. I was just kind of interested why he came in again.
Yeah, I think we should head down and see what's up.
Okay.
Be there in about an hour. Yeah.
Dodson, just because you're on the pole doesn't mean you can talk smack during our broadcast.
Yeah, it's worth looking at. You guys doing a good job.
Look at that.
There's Jay Hodder. Man, what year Pontiac is that? That thing looks like a door wedge. Okay. Welcome back to Mesa Marin Raceway as the car is still under caution. As the Spears Manufacturing 250 starting to heat up towards the front, Dan Hubbard. And this racetrack, although it is cool outside, it is very hot in the brake department. And 1 to go at the stripe, Dan, but now a little strategy comes into play because we've seen Harvick in the pits twice.
We're going to check with Barry Dodson later as to why Kevin Harvick pitted twice during the cautions go. We have seen a lot of brake glow, with the exception of Kevin Harvick. After that, his chassis set up. He's got his chassis set up better than most. He's going through those corners easier. He does appear to be a lot more comfortable than the other drivers. A lot of these drivers are working that wheel pretty heavy through turns 1, 2, and 3, and 4, but not Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's father, Mike Harvick, is doing the actual crew chiefing of that race car tonight, and John Montgomery does the crew chiefing of their vehicle in the Spears Craftsman Truck Series entry. And it looks like Harvick's okay, but he's going to have to come from the back now. And the situation is you need to be up front, you need to stay up front for at least 200 laps, then race the last 50. 3 cautions for 17 laps. Now we're going back to green. Larry Gunselman gets a great jump again, Dan Hubbard, and he goes ahead of Sean Woodside. And here comes Bill Sedgwick. And I think Sedgwick is just waiting and buying his time as he's battling door handle to door handle with Jeff Davis as they blast down the back straightaway, some 130 miles an hour in these Winston West cars. And look at this, Woodside and Gunselman making contact out of 4.
The guy not biding his time is Sean Woodside. Now, after the yellows, Woodside has had some handling problems. He's got to wait for his tires to warm up, but right now he's trying to get aggressive the very first lap after the yellow.
You know, the secret here is, as Barry said, tire management and brakes, and now we got some great racing going on as Gunselman continues to lead, but now it's getting very tight as we have another yellow flag. And number 19 of Billy Canada, Tempe, Arizona, spins around his Interstates battery Chevy Lumina, and he is going to be on the tail end of the lead lap and maybe 1 down if he comes into pit road. Yellow flag being displayed. Cool night in Bakersfield, California.
It's a beautiful
NASCAR
night.
Winston West Series.
5,000 fans, I'd say, on hand here at Mesa Marin Raceway. And these are dedicated, knowledgeable fans. I was talking to them earlier. They know their NASCAR racing.
4th caution flag and lap in tonight's race. And that's unusual to see this many cautions this early. But what it's really doing is destroying the pit strategies as far as cycling pit stops, because you don't want to be going into the pits with 20 or 30 laps to go. Let's go down to Barry Dodson and find out what's going on the trackside.
Yeah, I'm down here with Wayne Spears. He owns a 75 car. Also the 75 truck, a good friend of mine. Mr. Spears, why'd you pit like lap 65, 66? I didn't see any changes. Let us know what your strategy is here.
Well, we got a tire rule here, and we want to look those tires over and find out just where we're at with them. Then how far can we really push them? And we're just looking tires over to make sure that that we don't keep it out there and you know, lose a tire for running too long.
Well, that's a gutsy call to give up track position. You must have a pretty good race car, huh?
Yeah, we got a pretty good race car.
And a pretty good little driver. Back to you.
Now, Barry, he's talking about the kid, Kevin Harvick, course track champion here at Mason Ridge Raceway. And Kevin Harvick went right from the Winston Racing Series late models into the Winston West. No problem at all. Had a little stint in the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour, but went right to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And, of course, Spears Manufacturing is sponsoring tonight's race. Wayne Spears does a lot for NASCAR, especially on the West Coast and in the Winston West Series. He sponsored this race for the last 5 years here at Mason Ridge. And here we have a shot of Billy Kahn, the number 19 Interstate Batteries race car. And Dan, they're doing work on it. Doesn't look like it was much damage, but they are putting tires on it.
Here you see change them. 2 right side tires. Winston West, there is a tire rule. This replay, contact made between Harvick and Eric Holmes. And there you see, wow, Jerry Kane almost collected Billy Kahn.
No, that's exactly what happened. In fact,
L.J. Pryor tapped him too.
right, everybody hit him, and the only thing he could do was spin, and actually did a great job of minimizing damage to the Interstate Batteries race car as the crew continues to work on him. Looks like they're doing something either with a radio or a seatbelt, and they're trying to get him back now. They'll get that thing underway. And the track crew goes to work as we are still in the Spears Manufacturing 250. 76 laps are down, and we'll be back with more right after this. All right. Man, that's the worst thing in the world to put on that racetrack. Water and that oil dry. Now we're trying things. Are we talking too much, though?
Yeah, are we doing all right?
Okay. Well, Dan and I have this thing going on. Oh, great shot.
I think it's going to be neat. Kevin Harvick's going to slash through this field.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Martha?
My jacket. Thanks. Welcome back to the Spears Manufacturing 250, where track cleanup continues after a bunch of cars got together coming out of turn number 2. And Barry Dotson has the story on pit road. Barry?
Yeah, Billy Kahn looped it on the back stretch. I'm down here with his crew chief, John Reeves, on the Interstate Batteries car. And John, when he pitted, it seemed like you had more problem than the spin. You were in the window. What's the deal?
Yeah, we lost radio contact there about 35, 40 laps ago. Had a little problem on the back stretch. Little problem here in the pits, trying to get it worked out. He's back.
Yeah, he's back in. Here we go. Bad time for me to be talking. Meanwhile, the 75 came back in. Kevin Harvick, another gutsy move. They put in a splash of fuel, and indications are he's got a pretty good race car because they took wedge out. That car's a little bit tight.
Kevin Harvick is on the tail end of the lead lap, currently in the 12th position. Let's see if that chassis adjustment helps him carve up through the pack.
One thing nice about having Barry Dotson on pit road, he knows the strategy as well or better than the crew chiefs that are down there, and he knows when somebody's playing the game. And I think he said it best when Wayne Spears said he has a good race car, and even better is a kid driving it who really knows how to get around this racetrack. Larry Gunselman is your leader. Sean Woodside is currently second. Third is Bill Sedgwick. Fourth is Butch Gilliland. that is really the true battle between Woodside and Gilliland in this group of 4, as Woodside not only battling for Rookie of the Year, but he's only 74 points down in the NASCAR Winston West Series Championship. Green flag is out. Larry Gunselman stabs the throttle on the Thunderbird as he crosses the start-finish line. This time does not get that good a jump over Sean Woodside. Woodside trying to capitalize by going to the outside. Jeff Davis moves down to the bottom of the racetrack. He makes contact with Butch Gilliland as they go into 3.
Davis not willing to give up that lower line. Gilliland did get around. There's the battle for the lead, heating up side by side as they cross the line.
And looks like Sean Woodside may get the advantage on the top side of the racetrack. They are very close. Gunselman takes Woodside way out to the retaining wall, and Gunselman will win this battle for first place off of turn number 2. And here comes Bill Sedgwick.
Nose to tail from first to third, come down the front stretch.
Only a car length and a half separating all 3 of your leaders here at Mason Marin, the Spears Manufacturing 250. And now Sedgwick standing on the throttle a little harder in his Chevy Monte Carlo, trying to get his way around the Pontiac of Sean Woodside. Boy, Sedgwick right up on the deck lid of Woodside.
Carries some beautiful speed there into turn 3. No handling problems as of yet for Bill Sedgwick. And now he's going to drop alongside into turn 1.
And they got on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's not the place to be, as Sean Woodside has been dispatched into spot number 3. In spot number 2 now, the 6-time winner here at Mason Marin in the NASCAR Winston West Series, that Billy Sedgwick. And Billy Sedgwick taking the ADL Satellite TV downlink Chevy Monte Carlo into spot number 2. And now he's going after Gunselman.
He's doing this, by the way, with a red-hot right front brake rotor.
And look at Sedgwick. He is just on the deck lid of Gunselman. Gunselman can't see him when he's there, so Gunselman has to play a little game of hide and seek. And here comes Jay Sauter again on pit road. The number 78 had a problem. The 78 was being black flagged for starting on the wrong side when they lined up. And that's going to put him in a stop-and-go penalty in the pits. And here comes Bill Sedgwick. Sedgwick now trying to get the lead over Gunselman. This is a battle for first place in the Spears Manufacturing 250. Sedgwick all the way up against the retaining wall, and he is going to hammer the throttle and try to get by Gunselman side by side, door handle to door handle. Sedgwick way up behind the racetrack. Gunselman owns the bottom. Here comes Sedgwick. He still can't get the lead. Gunselman dives the floor down low into 1. Brakes are glowing, and so are the tempers. They are flaming inside of those calves.
Gunselman trying to cut him off down the backstretch.
Gunselman trying to put him into crash, well, not on purpose, but to protect his line. And boy, Gunselman made a great move to get away from him, and Sedgwick wisely backs off.
Saturday night, short track racing at its best here at Mason Marin.
We are only 89 laps into a 250 lapper. You don't need to use your car up that much. And I think Sedgwick here may be smart for this move. Backing off, letting Gunselman run real hard. Gunselman your leader as they start to lap cars to the back of the field.
Sedgwick gets around the lap cars there inside. Turns 1 and 2. Now Billy may have a rethink about this. He tested Gunselman there. Gunselman was up to the challenge.
Yeah, but I think he knows something we don't know. I think he can go pretty fast on the outside of this racetrack. Gunselman also can pass on the outside of the track. Now the spotters come into play. And Gunselman and Sedgwick continue their battle as we go down to Barry Dotson on pit road.
Jay, it's tough enough not having any radios. You had a heck of a run going there. What in the world happened?
Well, Barry, first we had a flat tire, and then we lost the cylinder here at the end. You know, I really want to thank those guys from Golden Gate Meats. They gave me a great car to drive today. Good experience for me, and NASCAR's done a great job with this West Series. I really appreciate running with them.
Thank you. A heck of a series, and good luck tomorrow, buddy. We'll be right there with you.
I appreciate it.
Up to you, Larry.
And of course, Jay Sauter and Barry Dodson referring to tomorrow's battle that'll be on the racetrack, as Sauter qualified very well right next to Mike Bliss in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Larry Gunselman, your leader in the Spears Manufacturing 250. And Sedgwick now trying to find different lines around this racetrack. He's went up, he's went down. You know he's looking for lines when there's nobody giving him any pressure and he starts playing around on the racetrack. Sedgwick has a very, very fast race car. Yeah, remember?
He's got both brakes glowing now. Before it was just the right front. Now it's both the front brakes.
This is the 10th place battle. Kevin Harvick trying to work his way underneath again. Harvick trying to move himself up. and Kevin Harvick not going to be able to do it on this lap. The 85 car is who he's battling, Kevin Richards. And Kevin Richards running for Rookie of the Year, and Harvick can't get around him, but he's got a lot of lap traffic to contend with here.
Kevin Harvick at one time the fastest car on the track earlier in the going. Now is mired in slower traffic, but still cannot get around that car of Richards.
NASCAR Winston Westfield has gotten very good. In fact, a lot of starters today, some 28 starters. A couple of cars did not make the show tonight, and the competition getting very heavy in this Winston West Series. In the ladder, there's two very separate divisions of racers in this class. There's the guys who are coming in, because there's a lot of rookies in this field. But just imagine what this class is going to be next year when these guys have experience on these racetracks. Kevin Harvick now trying to go around, and Harvick will take the high road to get around the number 85 of Kevin Richards.
Richards ain't through with him yet.
Yeah, but there is a rapper in front.
Rick Scribner will be the next victim for Harvick on the front stretch.
Kevin Harvick now will go to the bottom of the racetrack to make his work. Here comes back to the lead now as Bill Sedgwick applies a ton of pressure on Larry Gunselman. And there's lap traffic. That's going to work in Sedgwick's favor. Gunselman chooses to go high on the racetrack. Here comes Sedgwick. And it looks like Bill Sedgwick's car can go anywhere it wants on the racetrack. Gunselman has to fight it to get it outside. And Bill Sedgwick is just playing on the right rear of Bill Sedgwick's Ford Thunder, of Larry Gunselman's Ford Thunderbird, and he's been doing it all night long.
Sedgwick slowed up there just a bit. And look at Sean Woodside coming back from third.
Sean Woodside trying to get that Pontiac in the mix of things here.
Three-car battle for the lead. Turn 4 at Mesa Marin.
Bill McAnally will be the next one to go one lap down. Bill McAnally's got a great sponsorship package. They had a lot of problems with that car today. Very unusual. McAnally normally runs well in his Napa Chevrolet, but as you see, the Napa Chevrolet marked number 16. All the Napa race cars in NASCAR are marked the same. The Busch North car, this car of Bill McAnally, and of course the NASCAR Craftsman truck of Ron Hornaday, all marked number 16. Great job by Napa on getting everybody together, and McAnally puts on a pretty good show. Meanwhile, we got a great show up front. Here comes Bill Sedgwick. He's going to go way up high to try to go around Gunselman. Gunselman says no way. Gets a rear view mirror full of, goes up a half length of the racetrack. Here comes Bill Sedgwick down low to the inside. This is a battle for the lead. The Spears Manufacturing 250. 102 laps are in the books, and it's getting way wild already. Here comes Sedgwick. Here comes Woodside, and Gunselman's a big rabbit, and there's a couple of wolves right after him.
Gunselman showing some good horsepower down that front stretch. That's what's keeping him in the lead right now, because Sedgwick can really reel him into the corners.
Gunselman is very smooth. That is going for him, and Sedgwick's got contact now. Sedgwick makes contact with the number 56 car of Eddie Oak, and that caused him a problem. It slowed him up. Almost 3 car lengths were lost there, and now Sedgwick's got clean racetrack. He goes up again high to the outside of Larry Gunselman.
Larry driving a very defensive race now, trying to hug that low side. He's going to make Bill earn it.
I think we have to find out how Larry Gunselman's car is doing as far as being loose, because he hasn't made any moves to really protect himself. He's just sliding up and down the racetrack. He's not making any sharp moves to do it, and normally with a fast race car, you don't have to be smooth, and Gunselman is just babying this race car up and down the racetrack, doing a great job keeping Bill Sedgwick at bay, but how long can that keep up, Dan?
There's a fight for 6th between Eric Holmes and Kevin Culver.
Of course, Kevin Culver had a pretty good qualifying effort today. Holmes is running in his rookie year here with the NASCAR Winston Racing Series, or NASCAR Winston West Series. They've got a good little battle going on there too as they start to go around some other race cars in the field. The number 7 car being passed now, L.J. Pryor.
Well, L.J. swings out wide. It's going to hold up Culver just a bit. It's not holding.
Okay, let's go back and see our leaders. There's Gunselman, there's Sedgwick. Things heating up big time to Spears Manufacturing 250. We'll be right back. God, that sounded a little like Gary Lee, didn't it? We'll be right back. Okay. How's it sounding? No comment means bad. Oh, splitting the needle. Hello, Lou Miller.
Good job by Sedgy. Look at that.
Yeah. I think Sedgwick has the car, boys. He's running real strong. Yeah, exactly. So is this Dan and I's last broadcast here? Yeah, it sounds so weird when you're doing it like that. You can't hear reaction. But you know, Larry Gunselman's going pretty darn good.
Yeah.
You know, it would be nice because the truth be known, that car will not be on the racetrack next year. This is the last year for the Race Stuff Olson Technologies Thunderbird. Okay. Is he in his pit? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we were at a NASCAR Winston West race, and a war has broken out. Bill Sedgwick and Larry Gunselman have been battling this close all through the commercial break, through the lap preceding the break, and they are all over each other. This time, Sedgwick gets a little bit loose, and we're going to find out what's going on with Bill Sedgwick. Let's go down to Barry Dotson in the pits.
Well, he made a brave choice right before the race. I had him marked as having on Goodyear tires. I looked at him in the lineup. I saw the Hoosiers, and I said, Bill, what have you done? And he said, last practice, we chose to go to the Hoosiers to make that kind of gutsy call and be this competitive. It's a tribute to him. He's a man on a mission. But the bad thing, the brake rotors right now are brighter than that red car, and long green runs here. If there is a problem with the bead, that's when you'll see it.
Red hot brakes or not, Sedgwick still applying the pressure.
Words from Barry Dotson down on pit row for us tonight to Spears Manufacturing 250 on Fox Sports Net on a beautiful night in Bakersfield. And what a fireworks show Marion Collins put on tonight. In fact, that was one of the big-time fireworks shows. And they, speaking of red hot, that's what we had. Fireworks, and now we have red hot rotors. And these guys are really going fast. Normally, Dan, the pace would not be this heavy. Here's Woodside. He's putting pressure on Sedgwick. Sedgwick's putting pressure on Gunselman, and the spotters are going nuts. They do not want to let Sedgwick get away because he's smooth enough, and he's shown that that car can go anywhere on the racetrack. If they let him get away now, even though we're only in lap 116 out of 250, this could be a long night for the rest of the field. Sean Woodside, Rookie of the Year candidate. He's got 2 victories this year. And here comes Sedgwick. There is lap traffic in front of him. One of the lappers is Kevin Harvick, who led this race early. You talk about a heavy-duty pace as Gary Collins pulls the 28 down on the pit road. Here's Gunselman.
Contact made right there between Sedgwick and Billy Kahn.
Oh, look at this. And Sean Woodside's going to inherit spot number 2 due to lap traffic. And he's going to go right around. No, he's not going to get around Kevin Harvick. Harvick trying to keep on the lead lap, but nothing doing.
He didn't make it easy for anybody. Now Sedgwick gets by. So Sedgwick goes back to third. Sean Woodside holding down second, but still nobody able to get around Larry Gunselman.
Gunselman has been tough. There is no doubt about it. But Sedgwick has shown he's got the car. And just as soon as you think Sedgwick is going to go into the lead, here comes Sean Woodside to pass for spot number 2. So the top 3 cars in this race, Woodside, Sedgwick, and your leader Gunselman have been battling hard. And here comes Sedgwick now. Bill Sedgwick out of Acton, California. 6 wins at this racetrack, 6 poles. Is showing why he mastered this half mile.
That was an inspired pass there to the outside of turn 4. Perhaps Sedgwick fed up, trying to get around Gunselman. Lap traffic helping Larry all the way around.
He's been as close as you can get. There is no doubt about that, but he has not been able to get around Larry Gunselman. The Olson Technology Race Stuff Ford Thunderbird is out in front.
Larry Gunselman qualified third for this race. Larry out of Sierra Village, California.
And I believe they're looking for sponsorship on that race car next year. Rumor has it down on pit road that that car may not be here next year unless it attains some sponsorship. And if he keeps running like this, he'll get it. Let's go down to Barry Dotson on pit road.
Yeah, I'm watching the car of Jeff Davis, the Ultra Shield Thunderbird. He's coming through 1 and 2 here. He's on the bottom. The problem is he's smoking out the back, and a couple drivers down here complaining about oil. We'll just have to wait and see. But the Ford car is putting down some smoke. Back to you, Larry.
And he does have smoke coming out of the back of his Ultra Shield Jasper Engines Ford Thunderbird. The problem with that is Larry Gunselman is right behind him. There you see the white smoke trailing off in the back of the car, and that could cause a problem for Gunselman. It'll be under the watchful eye of the NASCAR Winston West officials. We're back to the lead now as Bill Sedgwick again, Dan, has worked his way up into spot number 2, and he is hammering Larry Gunselman.
Let's see how they play the traffic. Coming into turn 1 so far, Larry, very, very cagey. Working that lap traffic, keeping Bill Sedgwick at bay. Down the backstretch they go, single file.
It's not about speed, it's about position, and it's about tire management. And Larry Gunselman so far has led in both categories. We have got the halfway crossed flags at the start-finish line. 125 down, 125 to go. Folks, they have been like this all night long. All they need now is a marriage certificate, and it's complete. Gunselman and Sedgwick have been less than a car length for the last 20 laps. We are in lap 125, and they're clicking off laps at a pretty incredible pace. 21.126 is the elapsed time around this, about 80 miles an hour in traffic. So that means that straightaway speed's still up over 100 miles an hour. And Dan Hubbard, they're doing a great job. The spotters are really to be commended at the way they're racing tonight.
Those are fast lap times in race trim. Qualifying times were around 19 seconds. So they're turning laps at 20 seconds with all the traffic. Lap cars, they're really working out there.
And you could roast a hot dog on both of those brake rotors right now. In fact, you probably could heat up the Golden Hills of Bakersfield with those rotors. Here comes Sean Woodside. That is a beautiful looking race car. You know, the Winston West group has really come on strong as far as their appearance. They've got beautiful haulers down there. The cars are absolutely gorgeous. And these guys are just looking great. And they have made leaps and strides. Tom Deary, Ken Flapp, Dennis Huth, the rest of the NASCAR officials really putting their time and effort in the NASCAR Winston West Series. And it's evident. You saw the 33 cars trying to qualify today. The entire NASCAR office from Scotts Valley, California, doing a fantastic job bringing this Winston West back in line, along with the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour, and of course all the work they do for the NASCAR Craftsman Drug Series.
Larry, can you imagine driving a car at over 100 miles an hour with relatively no brakes, keeping it off the wall?
Yeah, that's the beauty of this racetrack. You have to be able to manage things here. And it is a very fast half mile. It's not like you're in a very technical racetrack as far as how you drive it. The only thing you have to do is be able to manage it. And right now, Larry Gunselman is managing to stay out in front of Bill Sedgwick. And I will tell you that Gunselman is going to have nightmares tonight. He's going to see a big red Chevrolet Monte Carlo all over him in his dreams, because Sedgwick is not letting him rest one bit. And you got to be thinking now mental fatigue on Larry Gunselman. He hasn't had a break all race long.
That's right.
He's been fighting with Harvick. He's been fighting with Woodside, and now he fights with perhaps the toughest guy on the racetrack right now, Bill Sedgwick.
The outside, George Norblick there. Let's go down to Barry Dodson.
Well, you got Gunselman and Sedgwick. I mean, they're going at it tooth and nail. But if you look not too far back, you got Sean Woodside. He's coming in the corner down here in turn 1. Really easy on the brakes, trying to keep it down, easing into the throttle, taking care of his tires. He's in the catbird seat right now, watching what the other two guys up front do. Back to you, Larry.
And if he is cagey enough, he can garner a win here. 132 laps down of 250. He has 9 top 5 finishes this year, amongst those 2 victories, and he was incredible at Sears Point on the road course. He did very well. Larry Gunselman really looking good tonight, and he's got all kinds of pressure. Gunselman showing his mettle as a great driver. Bill Sedgwick right behind him. We've talked a lot about the victories here for Bill Sedgwick. He would like to notch lucky number 7 tonight, as Bill Sedgwick all over the rear deck lid of Larry Gunselman as they barrel down the back straightaway at some 130 miles an hour. And they'll scrub it off to about 90 in the turns. And these guys are doing a great job. Lap traffic is ahead of them. We're ahead of a break, and we'll be back with more right after this. We are very fortunate because normally it takes 3 hours to do 100 laps with these guys.
If they stay green like this, Sedgwick may have to pass him in the pits.
Well, I will tell you what, I'm just going to let Barry know. I'm sure Barry can hear. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Barry? Barry?
Harvick's coming in.
Barry Dodson? Hey, Barry.
Yes.
You're going to see some pit stops now. We're at lap 136.
Right.
I would imagine you're going to see Gunselman hasn't been in yet, so that might be the only way Sedgwick can get the lead. However, I don't believe Sedgwick has been in the pits yet either.
No,
and they are way past the fuel window.
Right, and I'm down here in Woodside's pit right now, and I'll find out how long it's going to be.
And we're going to get a pass for the lead during the break, too, because here it comes. Side by side. Look at those guys go.
Pass for the lead.
Yeah, pass for the lead.
Okay, Woodside's good for 30 more laps on fuel.
Okay.
But they want to put tires on under yellow.
All right. He said he's going to do that.
Harvick made a gutsy move coming in early, and he used his tires up trying to get back to the front with that strategy, so he stopped early naturally.
Barry, it doesn't seem like he's as fast as he was before.
Right, he's really had to use it up, going, you know, taking that option and going to the rear just to look at his tires, so he had to stop and get them quicker than the other guys.
Okay.
And
new leader in the Spears Manufacturing 250. He dogged them for a whole bunch of laps. Bill Sedgwick is now your leader, and let's take a look at how it happened. They were side by side, Dan, going down the front straightaway. What happened then?
Into turn one, Sedgwick riding that outside line and then gets the good bite down the back stretch. This was a pass that actually started off at turn 4 all the way down the front, all the way around turns 1 and 2. Bill Sedgwick now your new leader.
And Gunselman, as you saw, Dan, got very loose at the very end of that back straightaway. And the 37 car now rolls down onto pit road. And Larry Gunselman is going to come to the attention of the Olson's Technology Ford Thunderbird crew. And we'll get a good view of it here as they are going to go ahead and put fuel in. And they're not making any adjustments. No tires, no nothing. So Gunselman may be better than we thought. They're trying to get him out of the pits now, but it's a lengthy stay on pit road for Larry Gunselman. He is going to go one lap down.
Green flag pit stop. Awful tough here on a short track. A half-mile paved oval, Mason Marin is. There's your leader, Bill Sedgwick, who has yet to pit.
I can't believe they're stretching this fuel window this long, and it might be because it's so cool out there that the cars are actually running very well. As we said down at the top of the broadcast, the general qualifying time for this field was very fast. They didn't break the qualifying record, but they were all over it, and I think that's been the secret tonight, as we've got the number 56 car now slowing down on the front straightaway. Eddie Oak has had some problems. And Eddie Oak now very slow going into turn 1. And we've also got some smoke coming out of Jeff Davis's car as Sean Woodside, Scott Gaylord, and the rest of the field tries to get by. And we're going to get the leader now. Bill Sedgwick is going to drop down onto pit road in the ADL Chevy Monte Carlo.
They're going for right side rubber.
Dump in the fuel. Right side Hoosiers going on that vehicle. Bill Sedgwick is going to lose a lap, that is for sure. But let's go down to Barry Dotson and find out what's happening.
Well, it's time to get tires. You know, I've checked with all these guys, and I just saw the 37 come in a while ago. They just gassed it, hoping to not get lapped and wait for a caution, then get tires. But it's time for them. I talked to the 07 Woodside, and the concern is tires. Their fuel window happens to be about 25 more laps, so they're in great shape if they do catch a caution. Back to you.
And the NASCAR officials now standing in front of the ADL Chevrolet Monte Carlo of Bill Sedgwick, and I'm not sure if they're assessing a penalty or not, but they are definitely keeping him stopped on pit road. And deal for Bill Sedgwick that obviously he wasn't counting on when he came in the pits. Now they're going to let him go. Sedgwick does have new tires, but I would think he is down at least 2. Oh, he was over the pit box, and they assessed the penalty. The pit box you see marked on pit road, if you do any work outside of that box, or if the car is out of that box in any way, shape, or form, you get assessed a stop and go penalty. They did it right there in the pits. The 07 now out in front. Sean Woodside is your new leader, trying for his 3rd victory. This would help him immensely in the Rookie of the Year category. Of course, that's a very honorable mention on the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. And there's David Lee Liniger in the Remax Ford. That was actually one of Larry Gunselman's backup cars. David Lee Liniger got that checkbook out, and Gary Collins just smacked the wall in the 28. And we'll find out what happened with him. But Gary Collins, with that Watkins Racing Engine Chevy Monte Carlo, has got all kinds of problems. Of course, Gary Collins is one of the Winston West regulars who really knows how to get around this racetrack. Unfortunately, he got up in the wall, Dan Hubbard.
Gary Collins crawling that car now down the back stretch. He's going to cut it to the inside, trying to limp it back to the pits.
It's the third time tonight that the 07 has led as we watch Gary Collins come down.
Let's take another look at it. Oh, right there. He got tapped pretty good right there.
And
by
that was
Rick Scribner.
And that was Larry Gunselman, and Rick Scribner just center punched him going in the corner. Remember, Gunselman was running so strong in this race, and now Gunselman going to have all kinds of problems as Gary Collins continues to go down pit road. And Rick Scribner, who's making his first start with us in a long time, is still giving fits to Larry Gunselman. And you'd think they've had enough.
Look at the body damage there on the Scribner car.
Yeah, it's Debris City, USA, out on the racetrack right now. Gunselman seems to be okay. Scribner tries to go down low, and they may both be able to stay out on this racetrack, but Scribner is awful loose.
Eric Holmes being shown as the new leader, Spears Manufacturing 250.
Eric Holmes working the outside of the racetrack, trying to get around the lap drivers. Eric Holmes, number 63, qualified 7th out of Escalon, California. California Hotwood, Tilbury Constructor Chevrolet Lumina out in front. And he's got the red brake syndrome here at Mason Brent as well. But he is running awfully strong. The 63, 155 laps are down.
Holmes, for the time being, in the lead all by himself. Sean Woodside is being shown as second.
Got very sideways coming out of turn number 2. And Woodside now being shown as the second place driver in the race, but there is Bill Sedgwick. Now Sedgwick is one down. Yellow flag is being displayed here at Mason Brent Raceway in Bakersfield. Spears Manufacturing 250 under caution as there is debris on the racetrack, and there it is. And there is a big piece in turn 2, and all the Winston West drivers working their way around it. And we'll come back. We'll finish up. 157 are down. Don't go away. It's getting good. Spears Manufacturing 250. Are you sure that that guy's in the lead?
Eric Holmes, he's being shown over there too.
Yeah, that's what it says. Man, I can't believe that. Where did Woodside go? Okay. And this race is pretty good. But I did tell you that 2 cars had run away with this thing. Just didn't tell you which 2.
The Butch is having a problem on the pits there.
Yep.
We were down on the other end. No, I don't. But a big break for Gilliland there. They had the pit board out when the caution fell. We're in Woodside's pit.
Barry?
Yes.
What are they saying about Bill Sedgwick? Why did they hold him up out of the pit box that long?
He was over the line. All he had to do was back it up or let the guys push him back. Just a tough break and maybe not knowing the rule.
Yeah. Having fun down there, buddy?
Oh, I'm having a blast.
Hey, you're doing great, man.
You the man, Barry.
It doesn't mean we're going to talk to you tomorrow at all during the broadcast. So
I know that. That's how it works.
Leader coming into the pits.
And that Viper, Barry, that's yours at the end of the night.
I hear you.
Okay. Leader has come into the pits. Eric Holmes, the Escalon, California driver, is leading this NASCAR Winston West Series race. It is under yellow right now, the Spears Manufacturing 250. And Sean Woodside, who is in second, is also coming down pit road. And at lap 159, Dan Hubbard, that makes this pit stop very critical. Seemingly on fuel, they could go the rest of the way. The question is now tires.
Tires. They threw out some numbers of 70 laps, between 70 laps and 90 laps.
And went 130.
As far as tire wear was concerned, and we are at 130. So it's going to be very, very close to the checker whether the tires are going to hold or not.
Good shot of the Ray Claridge Cinema Vehicle Services pit crew going to work on this Rookie of the Year
competitor, Sean Woodside. He has been so strong all day long. Now he goes out of the pits, he'll come back in line. But now the big question is, can they go the rest of the way? Can they do another 70 laps?
Gary Smith leaving. There's Eric Holmes.
At 70 laps now, we're going to be at 2:30. That'll leave 20 to go. If that tire window is that critical, they are going to have to nurse him for the next few laps.
And I believe Sean Woodside beat Holmes out of the pits.
He did, and he is now your leader. Lap 161 is in the books of the Spears Manufacturing 250 as Woodside circulates around the racetrack in first place now. So when they line back up, he'll be on the outside of the restart row. Lead lap cars go to the outside, lapped cars go to the inside. And of course, the 10-lap rule is in effect. That'll put in the last 10 laps the cars single file, and it'll be all the lead lap cars that'll do that. If you're wondering about tires tonight, they can take 2 tires under caution. They can take 2 left and 4 right for a total of 6. And if they do not adhere to that rule, it's a 2-lap tire penalty. When they come in on green, though, they can take whatever they need as long as it does not exceed 6. Pit road speed tonight, 35 miles an hour. And don't forget, these are on bias fly tires. That's a big difference than the radios that the NASCAR crafted trucks will compete on tomorrow.
Got a good look at Sean Woodside behind the wheel. Now, right behind Woodside is car number 45. That is Gary Smith. Those 2 drivers are rookies this year on the NASCAR Winston West Series Tour, and they are fighting for the Rookie of the Year award. They are the top 2 rookies in this series.
And they are 1 and 2 right now on the racetrack. And looks like Gary's got a little bit of a fire, something sparking underneath. And as we see on the,
right there,
there's something right behind the left front. We may have a problem here on Gary Smith's car. The driver from Malahat, British Columbia, Canada, has got some wins this year. And of course, running in this Rookie of the Year as they follow a beautiful Dodge Viper here at Mason Ridge Raceway on what has turned out to be a gorgeous night. Last night, a monsoon flew in here and canceled our Port City Racing 200. That has been rescheduled for a couple of weeks from tonight on the 25th. They'll actually start that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and expecting a great crowd on hand for that. This has been voted the #1 short track event in the country by National Speed Sport News, as Mason Ridge's October Classic for the 3rd year in a row is the short track event of the year. It's a 4-day race festival of speed with the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. Here's Larry Gunselman in the pits now. And Larry Gunselman, boy, he's got some wear marks on that Ford Thunderbird, doesn't he?
That's been through the mill.
It sure has. As we get a look at the racetrack here.
Back to the leaders, you see there Sean Woodside and Gary Smith. Both of those guys have 2 wins to their credit this year.
There's Kevin Culver. And there goes Bill Sedgwick along with Kevin Harvick, Jeff Davis. Anyway, the Festival of Speed has got all kinds of great racing, including the Spears Manufacturing 250. You're watching it on Fox Sports Net. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back soon. Yeah, I tried. All right. You know what's really funny? We all talked about this in the meeting, that it would be 2 or 3 cars that break away from this, right? That's what's been happening the whole race. However, there's been 3 or 4 guys that have broke away on their own, and that's how Eric got into the lead. He wasn't even close. He did a good job just kind of playing cat and mouse. But here's the battle, you guys in the truck. This battle right here, the 07 and the 45. Not only is that important for Rookie of the Year, but that is critically important for the championship.
Title.
And Butch Gilliland, where's Gilliland at? Okay.
Where's your 38 car?
Okay, because it's a fight within a fight. There's Gilliland, and he is way back.
Well, where's 30? Where's Butch?
Gilliland is in 24th or 14th.
Okay, got it.
160, and Gilliland's a few laps down, my friend. He's
Is
4 laps
he?
down.
Okay.
Right. Oh. Yeller.
LJ Pryor, Brandon Ash.
Oh, Yeller. Yeller. Let's see if it was time to set it up anyway. The Spears Manufacturing 250 in Bakersfield, California is a race within a race. The two Rookie of the Year candidates running 1 and 2, but what's critically important as we watch the number 7 Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet making its way, or Pontiac making its way down. Actually, it's a Ford making its way down on pit row. What's critical is the 07 of Sean Woodside and Gary Smith are not only running for Rookie of the Year, but this could make a big difference in the championship point standings with only 1 race to go. Remember, Sean Woodside was only 74 points out of the lead. Butch Gilliland is back in 14th position. He is some 4 laps down and not even close to the lead lap. If Woodside can pull this race off, it would help him immensely in this championship standing.
This is not the kind of race Butch Gilliland wanted to have. He wanted to compete as a NASCAR Winston West Series champion. There you see Sean Woodside putting gas in the car, holding up Gary Smith there to the exit of the pits. Now they're letting him go.
And Gary Smith's going to have the advantage when they come back out. The Ray-Banco Tootsie Toy Chevrolet, that's a car that Ron Hornaday normally pilots when he's on the West Coast, but Gary Smith is piloting it tonight. We're going to get a look at what happened and caused that, the other yellow. 3 wide, that's not good.
Bill Sedgwick barely got by there on the inside.
So did Harvick.
Brandon Ash just got spun around, and L.J. Pryor had nowhere to go.
And here's a look from the outside of the racetrack. This is scary. Harvick did a great job to get out of this.
Yep. Brandon Ash was tapped there to the inside.
Yeah, he got hit by David Lee Liniger in the 3 car. That's what spun him around. Now here you got it in slow-mo, but this is a great illustration of what happened.
There's the contact.
There's Liniger. Look at Sedgwick get out of trouble. Wow.
Harvick there too.
Yep. Oh man, Brandon Ash, boom, and that's all she wrote. So a tough break for the number 23 car, Brandon Ash, as he gets spun around after he hit David Lee Liniger, but his repairs were made and he's back out on the racetrack as we watch him go and join the field. Unfortunately for Brandon, it's going to be far in the back.
Gary Smith, your new leader, the Spears Manufacturing 250.
169 laps have been completed, now 170. Here's the points. 1,925 points for Gilliland. Woodside back 74. Gary Smith back 124. Then you've got a huge disparity going into 4th and 5th. 363 for Gunsman. Scott Gaylord 395. Gunsman obviously not having a great race now as he dominated this race in the earlier stages. Has actually led the most laps tonight. And Gunsman back 363 points, but his car heavily damaged, but still circulating around the racetrack as the Dodge Viper brings them around for yet another lap under caution. The lights are out on the pace car, 1 to go, and we'll see this thing unfold. Spears Manufacturing 250. The lead lap cars are on the outside, the lap cars are on the inside.
Sean Woodside looking to take the points lead. If he can mount a victory here tonight at Mesa Marin, Butch Gilliland currently running 14th, 4 laps down.
Yeah, that's a tough one for him, Dan, as you said earlier. This is not a good thing for him. And Sedgwick is a lap down too, so Sedgwick's really going to have to get on the gas and try to get back on the lead lap right now, and Sedgwick probably can do it. And we're going green, and Sedgwick is going to run door handle to door handle with Gary Smith, and Bill Sedgwick is going to try to get the lap back. This might be a lucky break for Bill Sedgwick, but boy is Gary Smith strong. That Tootsie Toy Chevrolet really hammering down the back straightaway, and Sedgwick takes him way up on the racetrack.
Let's see how long it takes before those brakes start to go red once again.
Oh, he went in deep, man. He went way deep.
Gary Smith pretty smart, actually, not to fight him too much.
Had no reason to. He's got to make the lap back, and of course, at lap 173, we still have a bunch of laps to go. We've got a gas stop to consider. We have a possible tire stop to consider, and we have made several pit stops under green. So it plays out very well. The Rookie of the Year candidates are out in front. That's the yellow marking on the back of the race car. Oddly enough, both of these rookies have driven like veterans all year long. That's why they're in the positions they are in. Sean Woodside, the youngster from Saugus, California, and the driver out of Malahat, British Columbia, Canada, Gary Smith, doing a great job running in front.
You see the graphic on Sean Woodside. Woodside, before the drop of the green flag here tonight, has led the most laps for the 1997 year. About 498 of the possible
And
900
Gilliland,
laps.
oddly enough, has completed the most laps, but tonight Gilliland already several laps down here in the Spears Manufacturing 250. Our hats go off to Wayne and Connie Spears as again they flip the bill for this one. The NASCAR Winston West Series putting on a great show tonight in front of some 7,000 fans that have poured in to Mason Marin Raceway on a chilly, blustery night. That will be the third night of the Festival of Speed, as they call the October Classic home for the next 4 days.
Woodside trying to make it interesting now. Woodside seems to carry more speed into turns 1 and 2 to close the gap there, but as soon as they hit the backstretch, Gary nails the throttle again into the corner. Woodside handling a little bit better.
Well, you remember you and I were watching the qualifying earlier this afternoon, and Woodside had a lot of problems coming out of 3 and 4, got very loose coming out there a few times. Gary Smith had an excellent effort qualifying, relatively the same on both sides of the racetrack, but the drivers will tell you that turn 3 is very different than turn 1, and turn 4 is unlike anything you see in a half-mile racetrack. It is a very mean turn here. You can almost talk about it like Darlington. You got to carry the speed, get up against the retaining wall, and get down that front straightaway as quick as you can. And the secret here is to dive down low on the racetrack, or what they call the apron, and try to get yourself in position to come off of that corner. Gary Smith, your leader, and Sean Woodside still runs in spot number 2.
Again, these are the 2 rookies vying for the Rookie of the Year award. Gary Smith leads with 101 points. Sean Woodside with 99 points, and Sean had a brief look to the inside there.
Yeah, he did, but L.J. Pryor was right there in the lap traffic holding him up. And Gary Smith continues to lead by 1.5 car lengths over Woodside. Now Woodside goes down low, tries to take a look on the inside, nothing doing there. And Scott Gaylord in the 00 Oliver Technologies car has gone on the wall. Billy Kahn has spun on the apron. And we are going to go back to yellow in the Spears Manufacturing 250. We do race back to the yellow. Woodside working himself. Now Gilliland is there, the 38, but he is 4 laps down, so he is not going to be a factor as far as this yellow is concerned. However, he will be closer to making up one of those laps. And don't forget, Dan, if we go to a green flag pit stop with these 2 leaders, Gilliland can make a couple of those laps up.
It also means that Bill Sedgwick got a lap back.
That's exactly right. So maybe, just maybe, Sedgwick now can work his way up. 7th caution period at the Spears Manufacturing 250.
Let's take another look. 2 tires in the dirt there. That's Jeff Davis tagged Scott Gaylord in the left rear. Sent Scott spinning. And he's able to keep it off the wall.
Yeah, he did a good job right there. Davis hit him pretty good. Davis was off in the dirt too, and I think that's what caused the problem. As Scott Gaylord's car actually looks like there is no real damage on the car. Tires probably flat spotted, but not going to be a big deal for him. He'll be able to get underway and get into that pit area, and hopefully Gaylord can get that race car reshot with Goodyear Eagles and come back and get competitive in this thing again. And there's the donut right there.
Jeff Davis dropping off a couple of tires there. They call that the Ron Hornaday line.
That's right.
Mason Marin.
All right, we'll be back with more racing action. The Spears Manufacturing 250. Gary Smith leads it. Don't go away. The best we do is when we go to commercial. All right.
Minute and a half.
Martha, thank you so much. I don't know how we ever did this without anybody in
Martha,
like this.
I want to
And
have
you
your
too, Christy,
child.
Thank you. Christy is our statue of luck. Martha is doing all the work, and Dan and I are just looking really good. Eli, now we know why you're a star. Yes, Houston, hello. Okay. Yeah, let's let Dan go back and talk about that. Wakita, you know Wakita?
I got all kinds of notes on Wakita.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead and do the real work, Dan. Nice tie, by the way.
I'll say a little bit about Wakita, but if you know anything, you fill in.
Nice tie. You work at Chi-Chi's or what? You want a margarita, sir? For you? You finish? You finish? Hot plate. Hot plate. Right.
Right.
Okay. Guadalajara.
I'll get it.
I'll get it. Hello? NASCAR Track Network. I'll bring it back and throw it to you, Dan.
Spears Manufacturing 250, Bakersfield, California. Gary Smith leads it, and we are working under caution right now. And Dan, a lot of drivers here in the Winston West Series going to make a big trip across the pond as NASCAR goes back to Suzuka.
Back to Suzuka for last year's, or to repeat last year's Suzuka Thunder. Very popular event over there with the Japanese. They love seeing the big American sedans. The V8 just roar around that road track. There is a Japanese driver in this NASCAR Winston West Series,
Taro Waketa. That's right. He was one of the first ones, Dan, that came and said, hey, we want to go racing here. We need a car. They came here to Mesa Marin, bought one of Gary Collins' Winston West cars, and he's had all kinds of problems tonight. But look at him burying himself in that hood. He is really a nice guy, and his English is getting great. He actually speaks NASCAR now, and it's kind of nice to talk to him. He's very, very knowledgeable and a great road race driver.
And they're not giving up. They're staying out here.
No, you can't. He needs all the laps he can. Of course, he rode in May, rode around this racetrack in May, did very well, and getting a lot of help from the folks here at Mesa Marin, Larry Collins and Marion Collins, and of course Gary Collins in the West Coast Fabrication Race Shop. And if you go back and look at the field, you're going to see Sean Woodside making the trip. Bill Sedgwick will make the trip to Japan. And of course, last year, some of the Winston West drivers made a good showing there, and I was fortunate enough to go to Japan. We had a great time over there. The funniest thing was watching Sterling Marlin order sushi. That was good. We had a great time at Suzuka. We can't wait to go back, and then the Mate Twin Ovals will be the next year going back. We'll do a road course race there, and we'll do some oval track racing. And of course, all the guys really raring to go there. There'll be NASCAR Craftsman Truck competitors, NASCAR Winston West competitors, and some of the greatest NASCAR Winston Cup drivers in the world will be doing battle internationally. Let's go down to Barry Dodson and find out what's going on pit road.
Okay, I'm down here with Jeff Schrader. He's crew chief for Sean Woodside. And Jeff, you don't want to see anybody have bad luck. Butch ran out of gas. You guys trying to regain the points lead now. What do you tell a rookie here these last few laps? What are you going to tell him?
Well, you know, he's just got to look at the big picture here and stay out of trouble. It's unfortunate that Butch is having a little problem, ran out of gas, but, you know, I mean, with a rookie driver, you know, he's doing great, second in points, and we got a chance to make some ground up. You never want to see anyone have trouble, but someday it's not your day.
I hear you. I noticed your tire wear looked excellent, and your fuel mileage is good, and that helps me for tomorrow. Thanks. Back upstairs, guys.
Oh, Barry Dodson, he's a sly one.
Always looking for an advantage.
Asked Barry to do the show today. Unfortunately, Bill Armour was sick and couldn't make the trip out here. Barry obliged us. Now we know why he did. Back to green flag racing. And out in front is Gary Smith. 7 caution laps for 47 laps has plagued the Spears Manufacturing 250. As we continue to watch 4 wide down the back straightaway. Oh, Katie barred the door. This one's going to get good. Here's Gunselman. Oh man, 4 wide down the back straightaway. Kevin Harvick involved in there. Kevin Culver is right there. Wow, that'll stop your heart.
You know, there was about 60 laps left. You're going to see these guys start rolling up the Nomex and going to work.
You are not kidding. I'm telling you. Here comes Woodside. We are in lap 190, 60 to go, as Dan Hubbard mentioned. There is Sean Woodside. There is our leader, Gary Smith. And these 2 guys are trying to check out. And Woodside knows now, with only 60 to go, he cannot let him get away.
You can tell just the way they're coming down that front stretch. They've pulled out the stops. This is it.
Yeah, 60 laps, and I don't think we're going to see a tire stop. I do not think we'll see a tire stop unless something drastic happens and we have a lengthy caution period. But Sean Woodside works his Pontiac down very low. And notice that Woodside is much lower on this racetrack than Gary Smith is. And it could be just chassis setup. It could be that because Woodside's got great tire wear. He can go wherever he wants.
Woodside exiting that corner. Later apex, that is Sean Woodside. Here they go into turns 1 and 2. Woodside closing on every lap.
Yeah, I think Woodside sees something in Gary Smith that maybe we're not seeing up here. And Gary Smith seems to drift a little bit wide. There he goes right there out of 4. Now Woodside has seen that leaving 2. He's seen it leaving 4. Now he's just got to decide when he's going to pounce.
Watch Woodside coming off of turn 2. He gets a real great bite down that back stretch. There he goes.
The back stretch of Mesa Marin is a lengthy one, 750 feet. And you really have to work to get down that back straightaway. You've got to get off that corner very well. And Woodside has been doing it. Now it looks like Woodside's even almost having to get off the gas to avoid hitting Gary Smith. And you see Woodside now take the Pontiac down very low on the racetrack. And Woodside's going to try to outpower the Chevrolet.
there by Smith, maintaining the lead ever so slightly.
Well, both of these drivers have had great mentors. Of course, Sean Woodside very close to Ron Hornaday, as is Sean Rowe, the NASCAR Federal Southwest Tour driver. And Roy Smith, who is Gary Smith's father, was a NASCAR Winston West champion, so he's no stranger. Look at this, Dan, 19.961 on a lap time for Gary Smith at lap 197.
There might be a problem on the Woodside automobile. He's falling back, and Kevin Harvick got around him on the inside.
Still showing Woodside in second. The 63 runs in spot number 3, being driven by Eric Holmes. He's having a good showing. The 20, or the number 25, is in the 4th spot. And of course, that being driven tonight, the 25 Kevin Culver out of Portland, Oregon, and the 37 of Larry Gunsman in the 5th spot, with the 71 in spot number 6, Jerry Kane.
Gary Smith, your leader right there, chasing down Butch Gilliland. Butch, of course, a couple of laps down. Gary's going to put him another lap down. Gary is actually chasing Butch in the points chase. Gary is third, currently third.
This is going to make a lot of points up, especially if Gary can hold this off. But now, what is even more important to them, probably on an individual level, is that Rookie of the Year, because that's a nice honor to have going into your next year as being the Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR Winston West Series. Gary Smith right now is 2 points ahead of Sean Woodside, and we're going to go down to Barry Dotson and find out what's going on pit road.
Yeah, I'm down here with my good friend Bill Strausser, long time no see. He's in the toy business, but there's no toying around out there right now, Bill. How's the car, and what's your chances?
Well, I think our chances are good now. We really had to work on the car in the pit stops, and the driver seems to like it, so I think we're good to go.
Okay, keep your fingers crossed. Back to the tower.
As we said, Bill Strausser has employed the services of Ron Hornaday on a number of occasions to drive that Tootsie Toy Revanco Chevrolet, and Gary Smith doing a great job. And it was kind of a risky move for Strausser to put Gary Smith in that car, as Harvick now dives underneath him to try to get a lap back. Kevin Harvick's been driving the wheels off that Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet Monte Carlo, trying to get some laps back, and that's going to put Harvick, I believe, back on the lead lap. Or no, he'll still be 1 more down. He's 2 down right now, but he just made 1 up, so now he's 1. So we'll see if Harvick can get another lap back with the yellow. But Gary Smith was a gamble. Boy, did it pay off. And speaking of gambling, the next race they go to is in Las Vegas, Nevada, where they will roll the dice for the championship. And we'll be back with more of this Spears Manufacturing 250. Can Gary Smith hold on? We'll find out. Always leave them wanting more, Danny. I'm getting Martha a trophy tomorrow. Yep. You know what? Eli should never let you come up here, because now we know the truth.
We know the woman behind the announcer.
That's right. What's that? Okay. Look, who's directing this show? You or me?
Woodside's back on the hammer. He's back on the throttle.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's me, Eli, and Bagley going to dinner. Jeez. Sushi. It was funny when we were at the sushi restaurant in Japan. Sterling, the lady goes, "What do you have?" I don't know. I'll just have whatever the thing is right over there. I tell you what, that McDonald's at Suzuka Land was the busiest building on the planet. We went there.
Here comes Woodside. What was wrong with his car? No, he's closing the gap.
I think he had to cool it off a little bit.
Think so?
Yep. He was running so hard to try to catch back up. Okay, we're going to have a pretty good race truck between Woodside, the 07, and the 45. He's catching it. Woodside's jamming.
Here he comes. Let's get a report on there.
Welcome back to the Spears Manufacturing 250, where suddenly Sean Woodside has hammered the throttle in the Golden West Trailers Unical Pontiac 07. He was almost a half a lap back on the track to to Gary Smith, and in the last 3 laps has made up the distance you see there. Only 40 laps remain, only 4 car lengths in between first and second with 40 to go. This is not only a battle for Rookie of the Year, it's a battle for the points championship as well. Butch Gilliland, as we said earlier, is several laps down. Gary Smith and Sean Woodside are running 1 and 2 right now, respectively, and they're also 1 and 2 in the Rookie of the Year points. Dan, this battle is shaping up to be a great Winston West finish.
The battle on paper is being played out right here on the half mile at Mesa Marin. Sean Woodside knocking on the door of Gary Smith as they get around a lap car there coming off of turn 2.
And Woodside has just reeled him in like a fishing trip. He's just cranking that reel and bringing him in.
One can only surmise that Woodside had to cool off the brakes as he backed way off, and now in the last 5 or 6 laps or so, he moves to the inside.
And Woodside now looking to take the lead on lap number 213, and at 250, Woodside had to check up. And Gary Smith wisely standing on the throttle and getting away from him. Our length and a half now, the difference between the big paycheck and the little paycheck. And Gary Smith doing a great job out in front. Boy, these 2 kids, these 2 rookies put on a great show tonight. And so has the Larry Gunselman, Kevin Harvick, the rest of the crew. Bill Sedgwick has done a great job. And here comes a pass for the lead. And Woodside down low on the racetrack. Gary Smith way up high. We've got 1 spun. The yellow flag is out, and Gary Smith will retain the lead on lap 215.
It's Jerry Kane who spun it out.
Jerry Kane spun it out on the grass infield here at Mesa Marin. One good thing about this racetrack, Dan Hubbard, is there is plenty of run-out room on the interior of this racetrack. Some of these incidents and spins would have resulted in being a crash wall at other half-mile racetracks, but there is a lot of grass and a lot of room to maneuver around here.
And the drivers are grateful for that.
Yeah, you are not kidding. And if you take a look at this Mesa Marin racetrack, it is just an absolutely beautiful facility, a great place to cap off the final short track event. Let's go check out what we have going on in the lead. We are back under yellow. We are going away for just a short while, but we're coming back to watch Gary Smith and Sean Woodside. You threw me a curve there, boys. I didn't hear what you said. It sounded like you said break and pits.
Oh, you handed the crowd.
Okay. Will we have any more breaks before the end of this? Okay. Okay. We can BS for a long time. Okay. Well, did you tell Lee to make sure we get all 3 of those cars in Victory Circle?
I want to welcome you to the Turbo Lounge.
I'm here twice a night. I drive the Beatles. All right, they're taking on right side. Right side to the Woodside.
Gary Smith pulls his car down on the pit road. Sean Woodside just left after he got right side tires on his number 7. Here comes Gary Smith now. There you see the leader, Sean Woodside. Woodside has made a lot of time up in the last several laps and now has the lead. Second spot now will be Kevin Holmes, will be shown in second. In the pits now is the Larry Gutzman going to third, and in the pits the 07 of Sean Woodside. Dan, this is where it plays out now. There's not very many laps to go.
Pit crew could make the difference. Gary Smith being held up just a bit now in the pits by NASCAR official. Now they let him go.
And we're going to see a great race to the end of this one as we watch the cars come off of pit road and circulate around the racetrack. The Raybanco Chevrolet rolls out onto the racetrack as we are under yellow. And we'll be back with more of an exciting Spears Manufacturing 250. Gary Smith, Sean Woodside. Come back.
All right. Say what? I don't know.
26 minutes of racing, 2.5 hours of broadcasting. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Hubbard.
They threw a commercial and a race broke out.
And that's a pretty shot of the racetrack.
Look at this. Eric Holmes in the lead again.
I know. Eric's brother, John. Okay.
Okay, the 45 actually should have come in on the lap that Woodside did. He didn't. What you're going to see here, the 07 was catching the 45 because the Goodyear tires are quicker for about 10 or 15 laps. Okay, with Woodside pitting first, Gary Smith's going to have a good run at getting back by him, but it's going to be short-lived.
Okay.
The Hoosiers, they had told me before inside 35, 40 laps they would come in. The 45 made a mistake by not coming in on the same lap, then having an option of beating them out. Back to you guys.
All right.
Goodyear's are fast for a little bit.
Welcome back to the Spears Manufacturing 250. We're back under green as we watch Eric Holmes out in front, Larry Gunselman in spot number 2, the 07 of Sean Woodside in spot number 3. That Dan, a series of pit stops is going to play into what has happened in the pit area and on the racetrack. As Holmes has not gone into pits, Gunselman your leader, but Woodside came in and got right side tires.
Only a few laps, or I guess for lap 222, we got to get to lap 250. Not many laps remaining as you see Sean Woodside working on Larry Gunselman. Gunselman currently in second to the inside of Eric Holmes. This is a pass for the lead.
And Larry Gunselman was so strong in the early part of this race, then got spun and had some damage, has worked himself back into a favorable position in the Spears Manufacturing 250, and Gunselman's going to the front. And here comes Woodside, 3 wide.
Woodside checked up there just a bit. Smart man.
Woodside now buries the 07 Pontiac down low on the racetrack. Larry Gunselman, your leader. And Eric Holmes, the number 63 car, going to the outside. Here comes Woodside on the inside. We know Woodside's got a strong motor in that Pontiac. Woodside's going to trailer Holmes going down the back straightaway. Holmes now going to be out hung to dry as Gunselman is going to block his path. And Woodside's going to come across the stripe in spot number 2.
Holmes playing it tough to the outside.
That's a long way around this racetrack. Here comes Woodside and Holmes, 25 laps to go in the Spears Manufacturing 250. Larry Gunselman, your leader. Here comes Woodside. Now the question remains, can Gary Smith come back up in the pack? And can Woodside get around Larry Gunselman? Remember, Gunselman at the very beginning of this race wouldn't let anybody by him.
He was tough to pass in the early going. Sean Woodside does not want to see Larry Gunselman in front of him. He's one of the toughest competitors out here.
This is not who you want in front with just a few laps to go. As the Masonry Racetrack has provided a pretty level playing field tonight for the Nascar Winston West Series. Last short track of the year. They'll head to Las Vegas in a couple of weeks to finish out their fantastic season. 1997, one of the best seasons on record for the NASCAR Winston West Series. And tonight, no exception to a great racing format that has been laid out all year long. Woodside is in spot number 2. Gunselman is your leader. Holmes is in spot number 3.
Actually, Kevin Colbert in car number 25. Currently being shown in the 4th spot, battling that with Eric Holmes. Oh, there's the battle for the lead.
Oh, little left tap, and Gunselman goes sideways. So that'll put the 07 of Sean Woodside up front, and we are under yellow. Oh, and a little bump in between Culver and Holmes.
Still racing back to the yellow. Holmes got the worst part of that exchange.
And that is probably going to end the evening for Eric Holmes on what was one of his best nights in the NASCAR Winston West Series. There is Larry Gunselman. Got very sideways. A lot of damage on the 63 of Eric Holmes. And he's got brake ducts, body parts flying all over the place. The problem here is we are going to have debris on this racetrack. And remember, the NASCAR Winston West Series can finish under yellow.
Holmes still going on a pretty good clip.
Clip is the word. He's going to need one after this. Looks like the front clip got hit real hard.
Well, you know, he's shedding debris all over the track right now. Now he comes down to the pits. Trying not to lose a lap.
Yeah, I think it's going to be impossible for him not to lose a lap. Let's take a look at this.
This was the pass for the lead for the tap for the lead.
I think Gunselman came down on Woodside. It looked like he was trying to protect the lane. Woodside didn't really seem to move anywhere. Gunselman is sideways.
Now this was, the yellow was out, but they're all racing back to the stripe. You see Culver got a couple of tires off the inside, loses control, goes right over the top of Eric Holmes.
And Harvick does a great job getting around it.
Here it is again. Watch that left front of Culver. They make contact before.
Yeah, that's what caught it right there. And he tore the front end right off that race car. And Kevin Harvick wisely gets around that accident. As the track is under yellow, Eric Holmes going back out on the racetrack. And we'll be back with a brawl in the NASCAR Winston West Series. There's your leader, Sean Woodside. Can he hold on? We'll see. We'll be right back. Buddy, say a few words about plastic. Oh, that's Robert. You're in your car.
You're in your car.
Houston, hello. Eli calls me up on Thursday and he goes, you're in your car. Going around a cereal bowl like 180 miles an hour. You reach for a Gatorade.
There's the Holmes car. Culver's still out there. Second spot. And where's Gary? Gary's in third. Oh, he's being shown as third. Okay.
Welcome back to Spears Manufacturing 250, the NASCAR Winston West Series here at Mason Marin. Was coming back off of the yellow due to a crash with Kevin Culver, and that happened after the yellow flag was displayed. Larry Gunselman caused the yellow as we watch Eric Holmes now come onto pit road and get some work from his crew. And Dan, a tough break for him. He ran strong tonight.
You notice the crew working pretty fast here. Eric Holmes currently being shown as the 5th position. And he's trying to stay on the lead lap. He comes in, they do some work, he goes, races back out, he comes back in, they do some more work.
All right, let's take a look at that wreck again as Eric Holmes had problems. Here comes Kevin Culver. Culver just nicks him right there, and that spins him. And he climbs right up on the side of that race car and just tears everything off the front end of Eric Holmes' race car. And there'll be 15 laps to go now as we continue on with the Spears Manufacturing 250. 1 lap to go to green. The lights are out atop the pace car.
There's Eric Holmes. There's the damage. Still in 5th position. Now Gary Smith, who was battling with Sean Woodside earlier, is in the 3rd spot, and this yellow will bunch him up. So Gary has a shot at the win here for the Spears Manufacturing 250.
And right now they're showing Kevin Culver as the 3rd or the 2nd place car with Woodside out in front. And based upon what happened, we don't know how severe the damage was to Kevin Culver's race car. So that may be a break for Sean Woodside as he picks the throttle up to go green.
Kevin Harvick there, a lapped car. So too is Butch Gillen.
And Culver is holding up Gary Smith, not on purpose. That car is not working well. 3 wide into 3, Gunselman to the inside. Here comes Gary Smith, and Culver had to back off in a hurry. Larry Gunselman now showing a spot number 2, Gary Smith in spot number 3.
There's Bill Sedgwick.
And Sedgwick being shown in the 6th position right now as Sedgwick working his way around. 1 lap down in the 6th spot.
Your leader, Sean Woodside, for the moment, unchallenged into turn 1, with now only 12 laps remaining.
And there's a good shot at the Gulf West Pontiac. And we've got Jeff Davis coming out and spinning in the apron. The Ultra Shield Ford Thunderbird has spun, and we are still green. 16th place was where Jeff Davis was at before he went backwards.
There's Gunselman in the second spot, trying to chase down Woodside.
He's got Gilliland right in the middle. And you can see the damage to Gunselman's car. He got that earlier, right around the lap 150 mark. 10 laps to go. 240 down, 10 to go. Spears Manufacturing 250. Larry Gunselman solidly in spot number 2. Your leader is Sean Woodside. He is leading rookie, or chasing the Rookie of the Year points. He is also chasing Butch Gilliland in the championship points. And Sean Woodside has kept his head about him all night long. He's dropped back. He's come back to the front. He's been patient. As Barry Dotson said, he's done very good with tire management. And he is working well.
Let's see if Sean Woodside has learned a thing or two about protecting the lead from Larry Gunselman.
241 laps are down now. 242 are down. 8 laps to go. The Spears Manufacturing 250. Larry Gunselman showing a lot of brake heat. Kevin Harvick getting assessed a penalty. He is on pit road. They have released him now. As we continue with the leaders, here is Sean Woodside, and Woodside has been remarkable all night long. He has not made very many mistakes, and he knew when to back off. And earlier in the race, he backed off a bunch. In fact, fell back about a half a track lane, and then came back and started pushing the Golden West Trailer Cinema Vehicle Services Pontiac to the lead. And that's where he's at right now. Lap 243 is about to go in the record books. We're on lap 244. 6 laps to go.
Metallic red glow on both of these cars, the right front brake. But Gunselman is reeling him in.
Both of them pretty good booster tires as they come down to the end. This NASCAR Winston West Series race, the last short track event of the year. Woodside looking for win number 3 with 5 to go.
Mature drive tonight for the rookie.
And Gary Smith, another Rookie of the Year contender, still back in spot number 3, but a ways back now as 246 laps are complete. And the Spears Manufacturing 250. Here's the battle for the 5th spot right now. Eric Holmes and Kevin Culver both were involved in that incident earlier. And Culver's got the worst of the damage with the better of the track position as they are battling for spots number 4 and 5 as they go down the back straightaway here at Mesa Marin. 247 laps are in the record book. 3 laps to go in the Spears Manufacturing 250 in the NASCAR Winston West Series on Fox Sports Net. On a beautiful night in Bakersfield, California, Culver and Holmes still going at it down the back straightaway. Culver now trying to dive to the inside. Holmes a little high on the outside of the track, but it's not doing any good. 248 laps are in the books. 2 to go. Sean Woodside, Larry Gunselman will stay with the leaders until the end. Here comes Gunselman, and he taps Woodside. Woodside saws the wheel. Gunselman tried to get in a big way, and now Woodside trying to chop him off. Here comes Gunselman on the inside. Oh, and Gunselman's way loose. Here comes Woodside to the inside. He's going back to the lead.
Down the back stretch, Sean Woodside, but Gunselman's not through yet.
1 lap to go in what has turned out to be a brawl in the NASCAR Winston West Series.
Well, you know, that was a bit of a payback on Gunselman's side, trying to get by, but Sean Woodside wins. And Spears Manufacturing 250.
Checkered flag out, Woodside wins, and what a great drive Woodside put on at the end. Gunselman banged him, he knocked him around, he went to the inside, he put a stripe on him, and he couldn't hold it. Let's go down to Barry Dotson.
Man, Jeff Schrader, I'm as nervous as you are. Tell us about that last lap, man. Great performance for a rookie. Congratulations.
Well, this Woodside kid, he's got a lot of talent. You know, and Larry was coming hard, but I mean, he raced us hard early on, and probably time to race him hard at the end, you know. It's you don't get a win every week, so when you got a shot at one, you can't give it up that easy, and Sean didn't.
Let's go to victory lane.
Thanks, Barry.
Back to you guys.
As they make their way to victory lane, we're going to step away for a moment. When we come back, we'll hear from the winner, Sean Woodside, Spears Manufacturing 250. My favorite thing, go to break. Hubs, we're done, man.
Let's get the points action.
Okay, here you go, buddy. What do we got? Okay, you got that sheet too? Okay, the 7 car finished first. So Woodside has 2026 plus 10 bonus points.
All right, we can get him back in it.
Put it back in the car.
Get him to get in the car. Get him in the car. Get him back in the car.
Okay, 37 Gunsel.
Sean, get back in the car.
Barry,
Get in there.
45.
Only Barry could have done that.
Man, I was right there with you. Great job.
Oh, Sean Woodside is 10 points out of the lead, folks.
10 points?
10 points out of the
Thank
lead,
you.
according. No, yep. No, wait a minute.
20 seconds.
Okay, I will. You got it. 37 out of the lead, unofficially.
Officially.
Well, a very happy Sean Woodside. Let's go to Barry Dotson.
Sean, great run for a rookie. I'm telling you, amazing young talent. I was in turn 1 all night. This Pontiac was flawless. 1-800, clean it up, 76. You did it unofficially. We got you 37 points out of the lead here. Let's talk about it. Great run, great teamwork, pit stops, tire wear was good, flawless night.
Yeah, who said Winston West Racing wasn't exciting? You know, the whole team, the Golden West Motorsports with Pontiac and Hoosier, great tire, and car stuck all night, and people definitely got their money's worth for sitting in the cold all night.
They sure did.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun out here.
Where's that pretty girlfriend? Let's get her in here.
Oh, she's over there.
Okay. Your car handled flawlessly. It looked like you went a long time on tires. Like I said, I looked at that. The wear was good. You guys obviously worked on mileage. Looked like a solid team effort.
Yeah, definitely. Jeff, our crew chief, you know, great job. Fisher Engineering, great motors, and Gordy made the transmissions work all night. And you got to thank everybody for coming out. Winston, NASCAR, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Back upstairs, guys.
Well, an exciting victory for Sean Woodside. That's number 3 this year, unofficially 37 points back. And let's take a look at this last lap again, Dan.
Now remember, Woodside had spun out Gunselman about 10 laps previous to this, so Gunselman tries to repay the favor here on the last lap. Gets to the inside. Just a little too aggressive here. Can't hold it.
And that's where Woodside did the great job. And then he shoots back down to the bottom of the racetrack, and it was all over after that point. The Golden West Trailers Pontiac of Sean Woodside is going to victory lane, and obviously very happy down there, as you saw. Gunselman getting a little loose, but a fantastic finish to the Sears Manufacturing 250. We'll be right back with more right after this.
Okay, Barry's got Gunselman.
Okay. This was a good race.
Okay.
Okay. What about Gary Smith? Okay. Barry's. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of excitement tonight in the Spears Manufacturing 250, and a person who gave most of it to us, Larry Gunselman. He's with our Barry Dotson.
Yeah, Pontiac versus Thunderbird, and I was just talking to Larry. He's a good friend of mine about sponsorship on this thing, and he says we sure need something. And after a run like that, it's well deserved. And Larry, tough break, great racing, good short track racing. Summarize it for us.
Well, it was a good race all race long. It's pretty close between the top 4 or 5 cars. I think it was pretty obvious we had the fastest car, and we just got a little bit of bad luck. We ran out of gas there about halfway through, and we had to come in, and we didn't know if we'd lost a lap or not, and didn't get a call from NASCAR quick enough to know, and ended up coming in, and they made us come in for a stop and go, so we lost a lap, and that really put us behind. And my guys just struggled real hard, and we got back on the lead lap and thought we had her won there, and Sean got into me when I was leading and turned me around, and those things happen in racing, and if there'd have been another 2 laps, I think somebody else would have been sitting in the winner's circle of this event.
I'm telling you, I thought I was out there. I was as nervous as I've ever been at a race. And I tell you something, though, you guys made a really heads-up call. When you got your lap back, you got on the tail end, pit road was open, the leaders elected to not come in or weren't aware that they could come in. You guys ducked in, and that's how you acquired the lead. The other teams couldn't figure it out for a while, but we knew how it happened. And pretty cagey move for this group, and a lot of ability in this team, and we hope you get something on this Ford Thunderbird, and just great short track racing. And I think we learned something here tonight for our race tomorrow. And how about the brakes? They were hot all night. Did they stay with you? Did they go away?
They got hot, but they never went away. The pedal never faded, and I hope you guys have a good run tomorrow in the ASE truck and all the other guys in super trucks, and maybe we can get a sponsor for this Thunderbird, or maybe get another opportunity somewhere else, and look forward to maybe racing with you guys someday.
We're pulling forward. We're going to go back up to Larry Naston in the booth. Thanks a lot.
All right, and we're going to come back with more from Mesa Marin. Don't go away. It's been a good one. We're glad you were with us on Fox Sports Net. Wow. High victory circle. Man.
Hallelujah, my love is free.
Guadalajara.
I've traveled each and every highway of them all. What's more than this? Excuse me.
Martha. You're so helpful. I never had anybody do that. Hey, there's a bathroom right here too. No, not the first one.